Good morning, good evening, whatever time of day it is for you. Welcome to this thing that I do called Thor's Entertainment. I am Thor, and today I'm continuing my playthrough of Mortal Kombat 1's Story Mode. Now, in the previous episodes, I've only managed to cover chapters 1, 2, and 3, so you have not missed too much so far. In a nutshell, after the events of Mortal Kombat 11, Liu Kang became a fire god and he became able to control time, and due to the old timeline being pretty damaged, he had no choice but to restart all of time. So we are now seeing the timeline that was purely created by Liu Kang. Now, some characters fared better than others in this new timeline, like for example, Shang Tsung is no longer a powerful magical sorcerer. In this timeline, we saw him being just a con artist who was not doing very well. But in his case, he was also approached by a character that Liu Kang was not expecting. Veronica approached Shang Tsung and offered him the chance to gain the power he used to have, something that he took her up on. Now, how exactly that plan of his is working out and what he is plotting, well, we are going to find out eventually, but it has not been revealed yet. Now, besides Shang Tsung, we also got to see other characters reintroduced in this new timeline like Kung Lao, Raiden, Kenshi, and Johnny Cage, each of which were selected by Liu Kang to participate in a tournament, his own version of the Mortal Kombat tournament, just without the killing your opponent part. It is a lot more of an exhibition tournament than anything else. So the tournament really isn't for any major stakes, it's more just for the sake of competitiveness. So Liu Kang did end up recruiting Raiden and Kung Lao, both of which were just farmers with really nothing better to do. Johnny Cage was still doing his martial arts actor thing, and then Kenshi was taking a break from his career with the Yakuza. Yeah, we're gonna call that a career. And he ended up going after Johnny Cage because Johnny Cage had acquired his ancestral sword, Sento, and he wanted it back. Now, it did not work out too well for Kenshi in regards to trying to get the sword back, but Liu Kang still offered him a chance to be a champion in his tournament. Yet again, it did not work out for Johnny Cage, Kung Lao, and Kenshi because it was only Raiden who emerged as the true champion for Earthrealm. And then Raiden went on to be the champion of the entire tournament, beating the Outworld warriors such as Li Mei, Reiko, General Shao, and Kitana. But like I said, it's a pretty low-stakes tournament, so nothing really important happened there. The only thing truly interesting and plot-driving that happened in that tournament was that we found out that Sindel and General Shao, along with other members of the royal family and the military, have been colluding with Shang Tsung. They reference that a sorcerer has been giving them prophecies that Liu Kang is going to conquer Outworld, so they are not really all that optimistic about their future relationship with Earthrealm. And at the very end of the last episode, we also saw that Geras is no longer a lackey to Kronika. Liu Kang gave him new purpose, well, kind of the same purpose. He is guarding the timeline, only now for more of a benevolent reason. So Geras passed on the message that Shang Tsung has deviated from the destiny that Liu Kang had plotted out for him. It would seem that he is learning magic and becoming a powerful sorcerer again and is up to no good. What is the no good exactly? Well, we're going to try and find out starting in this episode. Let's go ahead and get started with Chapter 4 from the perspective of Kenshi.
So we find him in Outworld and bring him here for questioning?
Yes. If what I fear has happened, he is a grave threat to the realms.
Anything else?
Shang Tsung is a master of deceit. Do not trust a word he utters.
Sounds a lot like my first agents.
It's a tricky mission. I'd rather Raiden go along than this one.
Hey, this one is up for the job.
This mission must be done quietly. I am breaking my word with Empress Sindel by sending you into Outworld without her knowledge. Due to the tournament, Raiden is now a familiar face there. Sending him will only increase your risk of being discovered. This talisman is attuned to Shang Tsung's qi. Follow it to him. And be careful. May the Elder Gods protect you.
Are we there yet?
Again? How old are you? 5?
What can I say? These boots weren't made for walking.
If that is the most pain you feel today, consider yourself lucky.
Oh, I'm already lucky. I've got Sento strapped to my back.
I will reclaim it, Cage.
Got 3 million? It's yours.
You know I don't have it.
I bet your Yakuza pals could come up with it. Oh, that's right. You blew them off. If there's one lesson Hollywood's taught me, it's never burn bridges. You never know who can help.
The Yakuza are leeches, bleeding out those too weak to resist. I grew up in that life, and I never understood it. Why my gain required others' pain. I got out. I need my clan out too. We can't be part of their crimes any longer.
What's your precious say?
That Shang Tsung is among those... things.
Oh, my fans are gonna go nuts cosplaying them a cage gun.
Hold him still. If he squirms, I cannot extract marrow.
That's Shang Tsung. Let's jump him after he's done. Oh, in Fists of Iron, we did this thing where like
We're not basing strategy on your movies, Cage.
Let me go! You can't do this!
The wound will heal in time. It is a small price to pay for progress.
On second thought, this scene's playing fine without us. Yeah, I say we let him finish it.
We have to save Shang Tsung. Liu Kang needs him alive.
And just remember this point, because if they had actually just let Shang Tsung die, about half the conflicts in this game would not have to happen.
How did he do that?
I would have killed him but for you.
I get why you'd want to, but you can't.
You're one of his minions. You'll die in his place. Action!
Alright, we get to kick things off with Kenshi versus Baraka. So in the last cutscene, they actually addressed something that I was kind of wondering about in the very last episode during Chapter 3. And that was, what exactly did Kenshi do to get away from the Yakuza whenever he went to the Wuxi Academy for like several months? Like, I was wondering, did he just ghost these people? Like, I can't imagine you can just give them a 2-week notice. And then I was wondering, like, if he just left, like, isn't that really detrimental to his plan? Like, I can't imagine they would treat the families of a deserter very well. Now, granted, it doesn't explain it a whole lot, but the last cutscene did say that he left the Yakuza. So somehow it was arranged and agreed upon. I can't imagine how that would have went down, but, I mean, he did it.
Get it! You haven't stopped him. You just made him angry.
This is one of those weird moments where I kind of wish they didn't say that, because I was lining up all kinds of jokes for it, but now it's all pointless. They explained it. Granted, they explained it in like one sentence, but they explained it. It is kind of weird seeing this game actually cover its bases a little bit with its characters. I'm not used to that from Mortal Kombat. Oh, and I kind of only just glossed over this, but we are fighting Baraka, who is making his very first appearance in this game. Now, Baraka has gone through a decent number of changes in this timeline versus the old one, but we will get into that a little bit later. This fight is almost over though, so we'll cover that in the next one.
Now please, let me explain.
You got us into this. How about getting us out?
I know what this looks like, but we don't work for Shang Tsung.
If not, why save him?
Because Liu Kang, Earthrealm's protector, wants to question him. He thinks Shang Tsung may be a threat to both our realms. I'm Kenshi Takahashi.
Our kind do not shake hands.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend.
Don't you know what we are?
No, we don't.
We are victims of Tarkat. The disease is not easily gotten, but you can't risk more close exposure. It disfigures, then debilitates. In time, it will turn us all into bloodthirsty monsters. Death is our only release.
So you weren't always like this?
I was once a rich merchant, but when I became ill, I was banished. Now I run this colony. I am Baraka.
What does Shang Tsung want with your bone marrow, Baraka?
I don't know, but he comes here each month to harvest it.
Release us, and we'll capture Shang Tsung. And we'll find out why he's been coming here. I promise.
Let them go.
Thank you. We won't let you down. Damn. This was guiding us to Shang Tsung. Now we can't find him.
His laboratory is near. I'll take you.
Very nice country home. This being evil thing seems like a sweet deal.
Any idea what to expect?
No, I've never been inside.
Stay here. We'll check it out.
You would think, as important as Shang Tsung is to the royalty of Outworld, that maybe he could actually have some security out here. Breaking in just seemed a little bit too easy.
The addition of crushed chitin larva proved an inspired choice. In testing, outcomes improved significantly. I have modified the formula since the last time it was administered. It uses several new ingredients. This new serum is exactly what we need. Its effects will be immediate and long-lasting.
How can you be sure?
Because it is brewed from freshly extracted Tarkatan marrow. It couldn't be more potent.
He is infecting Mileena with Tarkat.
And he's got two of Sindel's top dogs in on it. No wonder Liu Kang is worried about this guy.
We need to stop him.
Save a distressed damsel? Sure thing.
Get away from her.
You bitch.
Excuse me?
You know, the movie. Tiny girl, ginormous alien.
Ripley!
No? Seriously?
Earthrealmers. How did they find it?
They've already seen too much.
I need time. Buy it for me. Liu Kang sent you, didn't he?
Sent you to learn our secrets.
He sent us here for Shang Tsung. But it looks like he's just part of the problem.
Action!
Actually, I was talking about the changes that happened with Baraka at the very end of the last fight, but the character we are controlling has also undergone quite a few changes in this timeline versus the old one. The whole Kenshi being part of the Yakuza storyline, that's entirely new and was first introduced in this game. Back in the old timeline, Kenshi was already kind of a warrior whenever he was introduced in Deadly Alliance. His backstory was that he was approached by Shang Tsung in disguise, knowing that Kenshi Takahashi had some sort of a lineage of great warriors, and that those warriors' souls were all encased in some tomb. Now, I don't exactly remember how he did this, but Shang Tsung convinced Kenshi to go to this tomb that only he could open because he was a blood descendant. Once it was open, Shang Tsung stole all the souls in there, and the experience, there was like some sort of a flash of soul-related energy that then blinded Kenshi.
We are just getting started.
Since Shang Tsung was such a very nice guy, he went ahead and left Kenshi blinded in that tomb to starve to death. Fortunately for Kenshi, he discovered something that Shang Tsung was unaware of. He had an ancestral sword also in that tomb, which fortunately also contains some of the souls of his ancestors, but more specifically the greatest warriors along his family line. Now, once he was wielding Sento, the sword, the spirits of his ancestors could assist him, and they also unlocked some abilities that Kenshi was unaware that he had. This would come in the form of telekinesis and telepathy. And the assistance of the spirits as well as his new abilities allowed him to kind of see like Daredevil, kind of get a sense for what's around him without actually seeing it.
The High Mage is brought low. I thought Umgadi were loyal to the royal house. Yet here you are, scheming against the princess.
You trespass in Outworld, interfere in Imperial matters. It is you, not I, who is the schemer here.
So, having been screwed over and gotten some new abilities, Kenshi's only motivation back in the old timeline was to get revenge against Shang Tsung. Now, that's way different than what we are seeing here with Kenshi, since pretty much his only claim to fame is being a member of the Yakuza and being a pretty big badass in his own right, having had some pretty crazy experiences as a criminal in Japan. He retains the swordsman status since he is still wielding a sword, just not Sento since that now belongs to Johnny Cage. Although, Kenshi is super determined to get that back from Cage, who did buy it legitimately at some point. Other than just recovering some family history, Kenshi believes that obtaining the sword could be symbolic enough to motivate the rest of his family from moving away from working with the Yakuza and then pursuing new lives.
Your plot ends here, Umgadi.
I have to admit, it is still kind of weird seeing Kenshi with his eyesight. I'm so used to seeing him with a blindfold, him actually having his eyes fully available and looking around is, I mean, it is cool, it's a good character model, but it is not the one that I've gotten used to seeing over a couple of decades now. And I guess to go ahead and get us caught up on what's happening here, the protagonist team went after Shang Tsung, found Mileena strapped to a gurney of some kind, and about to be injected by the Shang Tsung created concoction using the marrow of the Tarkatan-ridden Baraka. So yeah, all around looks pretty terrible. And now we find ourselves fighting against Tanya and Rain, two characters that admittedly don't really do a whole lot in this story mode. Although I do find it interesting that Rain is the cameo fighter for Tanya and Tanya is the cameo fighter for Rain, when neither of those are cameo fighters in the actual main game whenever you try to play in like Invasions mode or online. The only time you're going to see that is here in story mode.
Your plot is over. Step away from the table.
This is twice you've been a thorn in my side. You Earthrealmers do have unhealthy habits.
You heard him. You're not infecting her with Tarkat.
I am trying to protect her, not infect her.
We've heard about how you lie. Excuse us if we're skeptical. Cover him. Princess, are you all right?
Is it over?
Yes, you're safe. We've stopped Shang Tsung.
Stopped him? Why?
Princess! Princess, what's wrong?
What did you do to her?
It's what you've done, fool. Let me help her before it's too late. Now do you believe, Earthrealmers?
What do we do?
Keep her occupied. I need time to finish more serum.
Johnny, a hand?
We got pages for this? Or are we winging it?
Whatever we do, we can't hurt her.
Her? I'm worried about us.
Princess, we can help you.
Your blood. I smell it. How sweet it will be to lick off my fingers.
Action!
All right, and there we have it. We have the big reveal for Mileena in this game. Even though she is a legitimate daughter to Sindel and the sister of Kitana, unlike in the past whenever she was just a clone, that does not necessarily mean that she is being excluded from being kind of a hybrid of a Tarkatan. Now, since the concept of a Tarkatan is completely different in this game, they went ahead and rolled with it when it came to Mileena as well. So what they did is went ahead and got her infected too. So we still have a monstrous version of Mileena, but we also get to see her as a fully functioning, regular Edenian, Outworldian, whatever the hell she is kind of person. So you definitely kind of get a Jekyll and Hyde situation, and I do like that quite a bit, actually. So this is a change I'm very, very happy with. Nothing against the old Mileena, but the concept was kind of getting stale after a while because they just weren't really doing anything with her besides the shock factor of, oh my god, she's a Kitana clone! So yeah, this is much better. But I'm going to go ahead and move away from Mileena for a moment. She's going to have plenty of time to shine later on in the story mode, so we have that to look forward to later. And speaking of time to shine in a story mode, while watching that last cutscene, I was kind of reminded of something that I did not realize until just now. This is the very first time that Kenshi has had a chapter in a story mode for Mortal Kombat. But hey, better late than never. I'm happy to see new characters actually getting time to shine in these story modes.
Johnny, Kung Lao, help hold her down. It's now or never, Shang Tsung.
By the gods! Mileena! What's happened here, sorcerer?
These men were sent to disrupt your sister's treatment and scandalize Outworld by revealing her illness.
What? That's totally fake news! Princess, we were...
Thank you, Goro. I've no stomach for Earthrealm lies. We should detain the Earthrealmers and the Tarkatan we found outside. At least until the Empress is ready to respond to this incursion.
Agreed.
But she must realize that this incident proves Earthrealm's bad faith. We must strike them now to protect ourselves.
No. They would not do this. There must be a misunderstanding.
Aw, yeah, Mortal Kombat's favorite goth kid has returned.
It is no misunderstanding, Princess. It is a confirmation of my prophecy. Left unchecked, Liu Kang will conquer Outworld. I apologize for not arriving sooner to defend your sister. I am glad she received her treatment.
The princess is safe, but the threat from Earthrealm remains.
Yes. Quan Chi, when do you anticipate they will strike? Soon. Today's events were foretold in the final quatrains of the prophecy. Then I am right. We must act now, Princess.
I will take your concerns to the Empress. It is for her to decide. Rain, Tanya, assist me.
What truly happened here, sorcerer?
That the Earthrealmers interrupted the princess's treatment was happenstance. They were here to capture me for Liu Kang.
You? Why?
That I must investigate. For now, let us revel in our good fortune. The Earthrealm's serendipitous arrival has given us ample evidence to convince the Empress of the truth of Quan Chi's prophecy.
Conflict with Earthrealm is now inevitable.
Not necessarily. The Empress has never been eager for conflict.
If she resists, she will be replaced. Outworld needs a steadfast leader.
A leader like you, perhaps.
If my realm requires it of me. Kill the Earthrealmers. They cannot report back to Liu Kang. Their deaths will also feed the ire between realms.
2 birds, 1 stone.
Our benefactor will be pleased.
She needs the realms at war, not at the brink of it, in order to conquer them both. Only then will we rule at her side.
Before she found me languishing in the mines, I would not have thought such a thing possible. But soon, she'll have transformed us from serfs into scions.
Alright, I see regardless of the timeline, Shang Tsung is a big fan of making creepy shit in his basement.
You've been at that for hours.
If you could see, you'd know why.
That's not happening, is it? Keep talking, will ya? To keep my mind off this. Tell me about life before you got sick.
I was doing well, trading goods up and down the Varta coast. My family was comfortable, happy. Then Tarkat came. It took my wife, then my children. Cruelly, it lets me live for now. I think it enjoys ravaging my body more slowly.
This hangover. Oh. Kenshi. God damn it. How bad's the pain?
Excruciating.
You saved me. I won't forget that.
But you may just regret it.
What are you doing? When did we take the left turn into survival horror?
This is Shang Tsung's real laboratory.
We're beneath where we were before. That was a false front.
Reminds me of this cheap-ass film I did in my early days. The Flesh Pits. God, that was trash. Who's that?
Our jailer.
How is he?
His eyes are gouged out. Guess.
That will dull the pain.
You're vile to be part of this.
You are Shang Tsung's prisoner. I am his slave. He has my family. He'll kill them if I don't obey.
Why did he pick you?
So he could learn how I shapeshift.
He learned that from you? We saw him do that. It was unreal.
So how does it work? You just shape-shift into anything you want?
I can shift only between this and my natural form.
You're Zateran. Your race can shapeshift.
None can except me.
Are they ready? It's time.
Time for what, sorcerer?
Replication experiments. They begin with your vivisection. I'll use your harvested parts to build new creations. The process is fatal, of course.
Liu Kang won't let you get away with this.
That presumes he will ever learn what happened. But when I am done, there will be no trace left of you. I shall return soon to check progress. I have other matters to which I must attend.
You don't have to do this.
It's either you or my family. Put them in the chambers.
Alright, it is finally time, the moment that I have been waiting for quite some time. I get to take control of Baraka. Now this is a monumental occasion for me because I have, again, really been looking forward to this. This is the very first chapter that Baraka has ever had in any story mode for Mortal Kombat. It is way overdue. This man has been a jobber in pretty much every single Mortal Kombat game that he has been present for. All he ever did was be present for people to beat him, and then, those characters got to look good. Finally, after all that time of getting his ass kicked, in this new timeline, finally it's Baraka that gets to look good. Now, this trend kind of started back in Mortal Kombat 11. He did not get a chapter of his own there, but the story mode at least made him important. He was a crucial part of the revolt against Shao Kahn, and they prioritized getting Baraka as a leader of his people to participate in that revolt. And that's nice. That was a really good touch. For the first time ever, this man was kind of important. And now here in Mortal Kombat 1, he is incredibly important and crucial to this part of the story. I absolutely love that. One of the things that I have complained about in my previous playthroughs of the other Mortal Kombat games was that, we just did not get enough new characters getting chapters of their own. Now, I've enjoyed the story modes for previous Mortal Kombat games, but they tend to cycle through the same characters quite a bit. There are a lot of characters that, despite being playable in most of, if not all of the last 4 games, did not actually have a chapter of their own to really get fleshed out as a character. I mean, the same has been true up to this point as well. We had Kung Lao have a chapter, we had Johnny Cage have a chapter, and we had Raiden have a chapter. Now, pretty much all of those characters have had chapters in the last few games, so that's nothing new. That's following the old formula that I was talking about. It was in the last chapter that Kenshi was the first one to buck that trend, and we got a new character. Well, Kenshi's not new, but for the first time, he got his own chapter in a story mode. And now in this chapter, Baraka is finally getting the same treatment. And in both cases, it was super overdue. Both of those characters were important to previous stories, but weren't playable and just really didn't have their time to shine. And I'm happy that in this story mode, they finally get that opportunity over characters that have, had their own chapters in multiple different games while they had none.
There is nothing more foul.
You spoke too soon, Baraka.
And up to this point, Baraka has only fought against other reskinned versions of Baraka. That's alright though, that won't be the only thing he does throughout this chapter, fortunately. So back in Kenshi's chapter, I did mention that Baraka had some changes to his character. Now originally I was going to talk about him in that chapter, but then I remembered that he has a chapter immediately after that, so I kind of had to restrain myself and wait to this moment, and it is finally time to talk about the differences between this Baraka and him in the old timeline. And I kind of already hinted at this whenever I was talking about Mileena, but the biggest difference is just the Tarkat disease. Now, back in the old timeline, it was not a disease that made a person a Tarkatan. Tarkatans were their own humanoid species in Outworld, and they happened to have the razor arms, the razor teeth, and just all the other pointy objects coming out of their body. But in the new timeline, they went away with that being an entire species, and instead, they made it an affliction that then turned regular people into, well, these monstrous creatures. So yeah, if you happen to be afflicted with Tarkat in this new timeline, you basically get turned into Spike from the X-Men. You get superpowers, you get all these crazy spikes coming out of you, and it's all awesome until you start to get disfigured and then you eventually die. Oh, and somewhere along the line you basically lose your sanity and become a cannibal. So yeah, definitely some pros and cons to getting those superpowers. And in both cases, Baraka was the leader of the Tarkatans. And this fight is almost over, so we'll get into that leadership aspect of Baraka here momentarily.
Enough distractions!
I'm ruined! Shang Tsung will punish me for this by torturing my family. You'll pay for their suffering, Tarkatan. Action!
Alright, I was talking about how Baraka in both timelines was the leader of the Tarkatans. Now, it didn't really get into how exactly Baraka earned that back in the old timeline. I think it was kind of one of those scenarios where he kind of had to rise up through his own ranks as a military leader. And if I remember correctly, you have to challenge the existing leader in order to take over and take charge. So at some point, the old Baraka did that. Here in this scenario, though, he just kind of stepped up to try and assist his people since they were all dying and kind of lacked leadership, which is pretty admirable, all things considered. I think it was a pretty good reimagining for the character and made him a pretty sympathetic character as well, having lost his family and was basically just struggling to try and assist everyone else who was suffering just like he was. You can clearly see they were trying to make him more of a relatable character and more of a good guy in this one, which I can appreciate. After all, back in the day, for the most part, it was just some generic monster bad guy with no real depth to his character. I much prefer this version of Baraka. Now, reflecting on the very first time I played through the story mode for this game, I would say it was around this point when I finally had been convinced that I do like this story mode. Playing up to that point, there were certainly elements of the story that I liked, but I was kind of iffy about it. But after getting to play as Kenshi and Baraka, and then the next chapter character as well, yeah, I was very convinced I was a fan of what I was playing.
We are leaving.
Then kill me. If I die, maybe you'll spare my family.
No, I won't murder you.
It's mercy, not murder. Not that what I've done deserves yours.
You were protecting your family. I would have done the same.
What has happened here? Syzoth, you fool! You've let them ruin everything.
We're going, sorcerer.
And we're taking you with us. Liu Kang would like a word.
I cannot be apprehended so easily.
Yeah, I got a bad feeling about this.
I bid you all farewell. Cheer up, Syzoth. I'm reuniting you with your family.
They're dead? You killed them?
Many moons ago. I do hate loose ends.
We gotta get out of here. What's wrong?
The door must have sealed when the gas was released. Stand aside.
Test your might.
Hell yeah, we have the return of Test Your Might. I have not had to do one of these in a while, and I especially had not done one in a very long time prior to this game. In fact, I think this is the very first one I did in this game back when I played through the story mode the first time. And yeah, I almost screw up this very last one, so I kind of got lucky.
Harry! Follow me. This way.
Leave me. I'll just slow you down.
What? Shang Tsung finds you, he'll kill you.
Look at me, Cage. I'm useless. Don't risk your lives to save mine.
Hey, you are not giving up. The Tyra need you, remember? We are gonna get back home and figure out how to help you. Got it?
We can't linger. We'll be captured. We need help getting Kenshi to the portal at Sundo.
I can take you only to the city's gate. Forgottens are forbidden inside.
I'll see you the rest of the way. It's the least I can do to make amends.
God, this reminds me of Wicked Planet. We had this forest in the second act.
The Manticore battle.
Yes! It was a pain to shoot, but man, did it come out epic.
I can picture it exactly.
This is the living forest.
Aren't all forests living, Baraka?
No others have trees that house the souls of the dead.
Whoa, wait a tick. We're talking ghosts?
Good ones, not evil.
You guys know anybody in here?
Some distant relatives.
You will find no Zaterrans.
Why not?
Warm bloods don't welcome us. So we keep to ourselves, living underground in Sikander province.
Then how did you meet Shang Tsung?
That I could take human form made me a freak among my people. I was terrorized and run out, starving and beggared. I joined a traveling carnival. Turned out there are many who would pay good money to see my gift. Back then, Shang Tsung was a huckster. We crossed paths and he saw what I could do. When he began to learn real sorcery, he asked to study me. When I declined, he took my family hostage.
Well, that's an offer you can't refuse.
He is dangerous, and he has plans. He, General Shao, Rain, they are conspiring.
To do what?
I can't say for certain. I've only overheard fragments.
Quan Chi sends more demons?
Wait, we're not...
With each of you I kill, my absolution grows nearer. Shedding your blood brings me closer to the light.
Oh man, the last cutscene really builds upon what I was talking about earlier and what was already a really good series of chapters. These details are really what set it over the edge for me and what made me really like this story mode. Like I already talked about Kenshi and Baraka getting their own chapters, that's fantastic, that's awesome. But then the story also expands upon Reptile, who overall was mostly just kind of in the background of the other games. And now we're even getting Ashrah introduced back into the game for the very first time since Mortal Kombat Armageddon. And even then she was kind of a bare basic character, you're kind of seeing her old motivation here. So that really hasn't changed necessarily, but it shows promise that with everything that we've seen up to this point with them expanding upon characters, that even this old character that never really got a whole lot of love might also get that same treatment. So yeah, it's just absolutely fantastic that finally we are seeing some new stories taking place in this game for characters that overall were just kind of only around as decoration and padding for the previous stories. Yeah, this is going to be the very last fight of this chapter and thus the very last fight of this episode, so we're nearly done. And as just a little bit of foreshadowing for the very next episode, the next chapter that we're going to be taking on, well, that's going to be from the perspective of Ashrah.
Whoever you are, we are not demons.
If not demons, what are you?
He's a Terran. I am a Denian. Or I was before my Tarkat affliction.
Outworlders. Apologies. I'm glad I've caused neither of you permanent injury.
What is that?
Just keep swimming.
And we are going to go ahead and end the episode here. This cutscene goes on to have Ashrah explain quite a bit about herself, and it also elaborates on how the goals of her and our new team overlap. All of that will be pretty good information going into the very next episode, so I'm going to go ahead and save it as what we're going to be starting off with in episode 4. But before we go ahead and close everything out here today, what exactly happened in this episode? Well, following up on the realization that Shang Tsung suddenly has his abilities again and is becoming a real threat of some kind and has been plotting something, Liu Kang went ahead and sent Kung Lao, Johnny Cage, and Kenshi to Outworld to go investigate and more specifically to recover Shang Tsung for interrogation and questioning. Now that trio was able to track down Shang Tsung in Outworld and he was at the Tarkatan colony. And Shang Tsung ended up almost being killed by Baraka after extracting some of his bone marrow for unknown reasons. Then the trio intervened and stopped Baraka from killing Shang Tsung, but in the process, Shang Tsung got away. After kind of clearing up what their intentions were with Baraka, Baraka joined the team, and then also proceeded to show them where exactly Shang Tsung has been living and doing his experiments and all that good stuff. They then go ahead and go inside to check out exactly what is going on, and they find that Shang Tsung is being accompanied by Rain and Tanya, all of which have an unconscious Mileena on some sort of medical bed, and they're about to inject her with some sort of cocktail of the bone marrow they got with Baraka. So yeah, kind of looked like they were going to go ahead and infect Mileena with Tarkat. So naturally, the protagonists try to jump in and save the day, but it turns out it was all one gigantic misunderstanding and that Mileena was already infected with Tarkat, and that was actually some sort of a sedative to help with reducing the effects of the disease. And since she did not get the treatment that she was needing, she went ahead and transformed before our eyes, and well, speaking of eyes, that experience led to Kenshi losing his. And as Kenshi was writhing in pain, they do manage to get the new cocktail injected into Mileena, which brought her back to her normal Edenian Outworldian form. But of course, that was not the end of all the conflict to be experienced because Kitana, Shao Kahn, I did it already, General Shao, Goro, and a few other people ended up showing up and crashing the party. They captured the main trio and also Baraka, who was just chilling outside, and they went ahead and had them imprisoned. At this point, we get a little bit of plot development as we find out that General Shao, Shang Tsung, and the newly revealed Quan Chi, all of them were working together in some sort of a plot to turn all of Outworld against Earthrealm. Now, there's definitely more to the story there, so we will have to wait and see exactly what it is, but yeah, that's what we got going on so far. And even though the main trio was captured by all the bad guys, they eventually do manage to escape and they make a new buddy along the way. The guy that was holding them prisoner was Reptile. He was only cooperating with Shang Tsung in order to help protect his family who were captives under Shang Tsung. Well, Reptile found out his family was dead and he had no reason to comply with Shang Tsung anymore, so he went ahead and changed sides. So suddenly we have him as a protagonist as well. In the end, the chapter ended with the team escaping away from Shang Tsung's laboratory, encountering Ashrah, and having a brief altercation before clearing up that they were not her enemies. And now we have yet again a new ally. So yeah, our team is getting pretty stacked at this point, and in the beginning of the next episode, Ashrah will explain what exactly she is up to and what she is intending to do, and we're going to find out how that overlaps with the main plot for our team. That's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, be sure to check out some of the other stuff I have on the Thor's Entertainment channel. I do have playthroughs of other Mortal Kombat games, and I also have a bunch of online gameplay for Mortal Kombat 1. Yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, check out the next one. Take care, and I will see you next time.